and welcome to Talking Pictures, where we talk about pictures, as in not pictures that but films.
My favourite picture is, I took a nice one of the sunset the other day.
It's Bertie Gilbert.
Hello.
Just before we launch into Bertie's actual favourite film, there was a lot of toing and froing about what it might be.
I don't know if I have a definitive favourite film, but this is definitely, it's one of them. So it was either this or Thunderbirds. No, not Thunderbirds. Chicken Run. Chicken Run. No, I'll explain. We were talking about Thunderpants the other day, and Chicken Run, Chicken Birds, Thunderbirds. That's kind of, I figured it out in my head.
But your actual favourite film, drum roll please, there's no real drum roll, we don't have the budget, right, unless Dan puts it in the edit, sure, is...
Whiplash.
Yay! Oh, drum roll!
Hey! God,
tell
goodness.
us, why do you love Whiplash so much?
Oh, when you messaged me about coming on, you said, it would help if it was sort of a film that meant something to you that was kind of outside of just the film itself. And when it came out, I was like, I think I was 16. I think I made maybe one or two short films by that point, and I knew it was sort of what I wanted to do, and I was thinking a lot about like directors, like legacies. It was a very like superficial kind of thought process, but I was like, what could my trademark be? You look at like Scorsese and it's like these long tracking shots and freeze frames, and Spielberg, and I was just thinking like, what could my trademark be? And then I saw Whiplash. For some reason that film made it click that like, oh, it's it's the stories. It made me kind of realize, because it was a film that there's a lot of artistry there, but it's still so entrenched with the story, and it's so it's not his first feature, Damien Chazelle, but I think it's his second, but it's kind of his first feature that was really kind of noticed.
Took off.
Exactly. It clicked that one's voice when making a film is kind of inherent, and is kind of, if you care enough about it, you actually don't really need to think about it that much. Like, no, you should never consciously think about like, okay, here's my trademark Bertie shot, whatever that is. I kind of realized like, no, Damien Chazelle isn't going to be known for like the light is yellow or like the quick cuts, even though that's a big part of the film. He's just going to be known for telling that story.
And a very simple story.
Such a simple story.
It's a bit of a guy meets girl, guy falls for girl, guy loses girl, guy ends up with girl.
Yeah.
But it's like actually probably more, a guy loves to drum.
That's kind of happening in the background.
Guy tries to drum, fails at the drumming, gets the drumming.
Yeah. It's a really good example. It's a really good case study of like what information is necessary and how little you actually need to do to convey certain things in a story. Like I was looking at like his dad. He's a pushover. He's kind of weak. How do we know that? In the cinema, like a guy knocks him and he just sort of, he doesn't say anything, and there's references to him having been a writer, but like, that's nothing. Like,
clearly he's nothing.
It's so simple. When you see how determined and how kind of, I guess like egotistical and driven Miles Teller's character is compared to his dad, it's like, well, that's like a whole other element. There's no expository dialogue explaining any of that.
And there's no like heavy-handed bit where it's like, I never wanted to end up like my father.
Exactly.
He was this way. I don't want to be a pushover like him, so I'm going to work really hard. It just told the story. And if you pick up on those little things, great. And if you don't, that doesn't ruin the film either.
Well, yeah, that's like a good segue into another thing that kind of dawned on me about Whiplash, is that it is such a smart film. It opens up so many questions about like aspiration and leaving a legacy and being too driven. But it's so accessible. I've never heard of anyone watching Whiplash and not at least taking something from it, Whiplash is just such an engaging drama, and such an artfully created film, yet I feel like there's something there for like so many people. A lot of the films that get nominated for Best Picture, I hate to throw around like the Oscar bait kind of thing, but I think there is a kind of subgenre of films, good films, but they're just competent. Like I was watching a film, do you remember The Reader? Do you remember that film with Kate Winslet?
Kate Winslet.
Films like that and like Theory of Everything and stuff. Again, not bad films.
Theory of Everything is fine.
But exactly, that is what a lot of kind of film producers who want to kind of generate Oscar buzz, they think these are the kind of Oscar films that can garner a general audience and appeal to more people. But you look at Whiplash and I feel like that was just, it came from somebody who really cared about the project, and
it's ballsy. And it's
ballsy.
Brave, and it's like, I'm going to make this film about a kid who wants to drum, and it's going to be tense. And difficult. You might think it would only appeal to people who wanted to be a musician, or at least people who wanted to be in the creative industry or arts in some way. And I'm going to make it. We're going to do it. And it ends up being this massive success that, you're right, is accessible. Because who hasn't at some point in their life tried something? Like, who hasn't wanted to do something that badly? Absolutely. And either failed in the process or been shot down by somebody, or succeeded, and wherever you are on that story, on that path, you get it.
It just goes to show that for a film to be Oscar worthy and also accessible and also get kind of big-ish audiences, you don't have to pander to like, you know, these swelling scores and like it being about a real historical figure and kind of, I don't know, there's a lot of like Oscar
but nor does it need a big budget or a big cast. Like this is a small cast. It's told in a couple of rooms.
Yeah, there is a kind of short filmy vibe to it. It's somewhat low budget, but it kind of feels like nothing's been tampered with, you know?
Some of the best films are.
Yeah.
One of my favourite films is Alien. As a sci-fi film, that's low budget. In a way, and I've said this before, having a lower budget means you can't distract from poor writing with explosions or special effects or CGI, George Lucas. And there's something in like not having the budget to distract that makes you focus on the writing and makes you make it fucking good.
Yeah, it's like you can sort of feel that it is a small crew and that small crew probably fucking love this and like, fucking care about it, because you get with like higher budget things, there's so many people on set, like not everyone is going to be like enthused by it, but it's like you watch Whiplash and it's like, oh, I bet the gaffer's having a fun time. Like I bet there's like there's like 10 people on set or something like that,
and they're invested. You imagine at that scale, people are invested in making it the best that they can be.
There's an inherent thing that you can't really describe when you know everyone involved is digging it. If I ever get to the point where I'm making bigger things, I'd be so determined to like have everyone be like enthused by it, because it's
like the difference between a family-run restaurant and a McDonald's.
Okay, so like Batman vs Superman is this like
I want
chain.
to call it a KFC.
It's this like chain restaurant KFC-esque place, and like everyone's just turning up. They're clocking in. They're doing their. They want to get home. And then Whiplash is this like, you go down this little alleyway, right? And it's like, where should we eat tonight? Oh, it's this lovely little bistro.
It's called like Mama's or
Mama
something.
Chazelle's or something.
Mama Chazelle's.
Mama Chazelle's. Oh, the food's delicious. Like, because I know this woman just slaved away.
Satisfying. It's nutritious.
Yeah. But it's still like, you know, it's like a spaghetti bolognese. Like, it's still appealing.
We're still talking about the food.
We're still going
to... This analogy has gone so long. What's your favourite scene?
I mean, it's probably the last scene. When people think of tension, like, they think of, I don't know, they think of guns, they think of like a bomb's about to go off, they think of like, but it's like, you think of like an argument, you know, but it's like, it's just drumming. It's just drumming. I mean, that scene, the levels, you know, it starts off promising, like he's kind of been brought back into the world, this guy isn't so bad. And then he gets crushed. You're just so gutted. And then he goes to hug his dad. Dad's like, "Come on, let's go on. He's a fucking arsehole. Like he's a monster." And what I love is, I feel like at that point, Miles Teller, as he goes back to the stage, he wants to defeat Fletcher. But as he continues, and as Fletcher actually starts to get into it, he's like, "Oh no, I actually do want to impress you. Oh, it's just you and me right now." And it's so perverted.
It's such a psychological mindfuck. And that bit when he just looks up at him and he's like,
Yeah.
It's like whispers it.
Yeah, he goes, it's weirdly kind of, the ending to La La Land, it's like, the way you feel about it is very dependent on your perspective on dreams and relationships and which one's more important and is it good to compromise, blah, 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 blah. The ending to Whiplash, depending on how like determined you are and how kind of ferociously determined to kind of complete your goals are, you might think that ending is good, and you might think that he's won, or you might think that Fletcher's won, or you might think that they're both fucked. I'm personally on the page that they're both very twisted.
It's interesting. I think that they're twisted, but I also think there's something kind of beautiful in that it's almost like their love of music.
It's primal.
It is bigger than their hatred of each other.
After that just mental scene with the car crash and there's a bit where Miles Teller watches a video of himself playing and he cries. I read that as like, I did used to just love doing that. I did used to just love drumming because it was really fun. And that's why the ending for me is kind of tragic, because it's like, oh good, you know what, he just loves to drum now. He doesn't need to impress anyone. It's like, oh okay, oh yeah, he's still gonna fucking bleed. Like it's like in that instant, it's like he's learnt nothing because Fletcher's there and because he wants to impress him. And I think it's great. I feel like anyone can pick apart that ending but it still works. If you're not in the mood to pick it apart, it's still a fucking engaging, great scene. 2001: A Space Odyssey is a great film, but it's like, a fucking, like, it's a mission to watch. Like, you have to...
Yeah, you have to be in the zone.
But it's
that.
like, I think Whiplash is, you know, is still so intelligent, but you can just, like, pop it on, you know? You can just pop it on. Whiplash is a jolly good film about dreams and determination and drumming and sweat and blood and sticking your hand in a thing of ice and then it all goes red because of drumming.
That's been Talking Pictures. I've been Hazel Hayes.
I've been Bertie Gilbert.
That's a wrap. Lovely.
Okay.